let's talk about the newest popular show that everyone's talking about. If you haven't seen it yet, go check it out. It is Squid Game Season 2 on Netflix. Squid Game Season 1 was fantastic. I loved watching all the games, the death games, and all that stuff. It was really kept you on the edge of your seat, like, oh, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? What's going to happen? It was a great show. We had a big reveal at the end with the front man taking his mask off and we seeing who he was because he was In Hyo's brother. Shooting him off the cliff. It was just, what? Well, now we have Squid Game Season 2. So let's talk about Season 2. The pros and cons, what's going to happen, what's coming up in Season 3. So hit that button, hit the subscribe button, and let's get into today's video. So Squid Game Season 2 came out, and I watched it straight through. One thing I didn't like about Squid Games is there was not games. It was more just the side story. We focused on In-hyo trying to find the island for most of it. The first couple episodes, we didn't even get to the Squid Games yet. It was just, Gi-hon trying to get back into the game, trying to find the subway man who played Daku, is it called? Dachki. We take the two squares of a piece of paper and you gotta try to flip the other person square over. So we focused not a lot on the games as much as the first season, which was kind of disappointing, but either way, it's a great show. Now, one thing I want to point out is, before I go any further, spoiler alert. Okay, so one thing I noticed, the big reveal that we had in Season 1 was number 1 was actually one of the people in charge of the games. And we saw him the whole time. We saw him from the first episode to when he, quote unquote, died. And we saw him again at the big reveal at the end. So, one thing I try to look for is during that first game, the first time they were there, 001 and 456 were the big numbers. The first contestant and the last contestant. So I was kind of looking for that. We knew Gi-hon was 456 again, so he was the last contestant to join the games. But we didn't see number 1. I didn't see number 1 anywhere. You didn't see him at all in the first game. So I was watching this and I'm sitting there, okay, there's no 001 that I can see. Maybe they're not making it a big deal this season. But then you see the front man, watching the first, part of the game, and we see the front man's face because we only know his face from Season 1. After the first game, he leaves and another manager comes in and takes his spot. Because if you remember from the first season, the front man is kind of walking around, the tiles, watching all the screens, with the whole crew and, picking people off, stuff like that. So the front man was there the entire time in the manager's office, basically monitoring. But then in this season, we see the front man for one game, and then he leaves and the manager takes over. As soon as the front man leaves, we don't see him again. He's just not there. This quote-unquote manager is in charge. So the whole time that Gi-hon is trying to say, hey, we gotta talk to the front man, we gotta talk to the front man, we gotta talk to the front man, the front man's not there. He left. And I don't know what made me do it, but I'm watching the scene where they first go through the voting process for the first time in Season 2. And they call from Gi-hon all the way down to 1. When they announced character number 1, I'm like, and they're not showing his face, they're showing him walk. I'm like, watch, it's gonna be the front man. And sure enough, it was the front man. Now, I didn't like this reveal. I mean, the front man, made it a decent story where he can actually, manipulate his way through the games, kind of like the old man did. But in order to kind of get a Gi-hun, because he knows Gi-hun's plan, so he's trying to stop him. He needs to gain his trust, but then he's trying to stop him. Because obviously we see at the end, he betrays Gi-hun, and so the footman shoots Sang-woo on the stairs, and then he runs up to the manager's office, puts on the footman outfit, and comes down the stairs and when he captures Gi-hun. So Gi-hun has no idea that this guy behind the black mask was the guy that helped him along the way for most of the season. He has no idea because, the front man, his name is Young Lee, which is not true. So Young Lee is on the radio saying, "Sorry, Gi-hun, we failed. We got attacked. Sung-woo's dead." And then he fakes dying himself, so he could sneak up the stairs, go to the manager's office, and put on his outfit. I didn't like this reveal. Like I said, I made this reveal because of that whole, story building where he's kind of building Gi-hun's trust to betray him at the end. I didn't like the fact that they did it so early on. It was like, the third episode where, I called it. Like, I'll watch this, the front man. So we knew the front man was there. We knew he was going to betray him. At least I knew he was going to betray him at some point. I'm like, no, there's no way that this front man is like turning a new leaf all of a sudden to help out Gi-hun. There's no way. And, because we knew that the front man wasn't up in the office. It was the manager. It was just another guy in a mask with the shape on his face. It was not the front man. And they said that every single time. They said the manager wants to see you. The manager wants to see you. The manager wants to see you. If it was the other way around, they would have said the front man wants to see you. So the reveal just, to me, didn't cut it fully. I feel like if they showed the front man at some point questioning his commitment to the games, maybe I would be like, okay, maybe he is turning a new leaf. Maybe he does want to drive out, and then he stabs him in the back at the end, and then it's like, oh my god, I didn't see that coming. But the fact that they showed the front man watching the first game, like, people are dying, this is great. Hey, manager, take over for me real quick. I gotta, do my job. So he was always going to step in because there was no number one character in the first game. So he was always going to step in as the number one contestant in the games. So they had this plan from the beginning, just like they had the plan from the beginning for the old man in season 1. So they knew this was going to happen. They knew he was going to be in that part. So to me, it just took away from it. For the backstabbing at the end, it was like, I called it. Like, you could see it coming. I don't like that. If I can see what's happening and basically tell what's going to happen before it happens, it kind of takes away the joy of the reveal. So, like I said, I saw the front man walk away, the manager stepped in, and I'm like, why aren't you doing your normal job? You didn't have this in the first. You didn't have a manager take over for you in the first season. So I immediately called the front man as number 1. I was correct. And then they're going through Gi-hun's plan to basically storm the castle and take over the manager's office. They got the guns, they got this, and he's right there with them. He's got this smirk on his face like, I got you. So we're gonna sacrifice these dopes over here, and don't worry, I got you. So he's, and then Gi-hun's like, okay, we're gonna do this. We're gonna go here. It's around this corner. We'll find it. And Gi-hun's like, hey, why don't I go with you? Because he doesn't want him to go up to the marriage office and have him be stuck down here, because they would ruin his plan. He needs to stop Gihon from getting to the manager's office. So he goes with him every step of the way until he backstabs him. And I saw it coming. I'm like, there's got to be some point where he's going to backstab him. And sure enough, he did. Now, like I said, if they showed there was some kind of tension between him and the games before he went to take his spot as number one, like maybe someone above him was like, hey, you need to step in there and you need to be number one. And like, no, I don't want to do it. Like maybe there's like some kind of tension there where he's like, I'm done with this. And basically you're forced into that role as number one. Then I could see, okay, maybe I would have called, okay, number one. Yep, number one is the front man. But with his actions towards Gihon and everybody else, I would have been like, okay, maybe he is really done with these games. Maybe he's just, being forced in his role, doesn't want to do it. Maybe he's a good guy. And then when the backstab comes, it's a surprise reveal. That's the way I would have rather seen it. But nonetheless, great show. Can't wait for season 3, which is coming out this year. And yes, this year is 2025 now. They said probably summer or fall. Because they actually filmed season 3 and 2 back to back. So it's already done and filmed. They just got to do all their post stuff. So what's going to happen in season 3? Like, we have no idea. We know that Gihon got basically arrested. I don't think they're going to kill Gihon. I think Gihon's going to last all over again. Here's what I think is going to happen. So, post-credit scene, we see 2 dolls. We see the female doll from season 1 and 2, and then there's a boy doll. So it's going to be a vamped up version of red light, green light. You're going to have 2 different angles of the dolls. We're going to use somehow something along those lines to make it a little more difficult. What I think is going to happen is they're going to drag Gihon back to the barracks. They're going to shoot everybody, just kill everybody in the room there. Kind of sucks, but if you remember from the first Squid game, everybody dies anyway. So they're going to go back in there. They're going to shoot everybody away from Gihon, and they're going to force him to stay. They're going to bring in another 455 contestants and make him play the games all over again. Start from scratch. And then they're going to have more of the games. And Gihon is going to lose his mind. He's not going to trust anybody because he's going to find out that the guy that lied to him was the front man. And he's going to be devastated beyond belief because the front man's going to probably just like, hey, Gihon, don't mess with me. I'm in charge. And it's going to mess with Gihon so bad that he's not going to be able to trust anybody. It's going to be like it's going to be worst case scenario for Gihon. He's going to fight hard for the games, but he's not going to be able to trust anybody. He's like, who is part of the games and who is not? I know how to play these games. I know like what to expect. Well, these people don't know what to expect because they're going to half of them die in the first game. But so he's going to try to do what Gihon does because Gihon is a good guy. I could see him trying to figure out the new updated but like green light version and maybe trying to help people out with this. Like he did the first one, cover your mouth, stay still, try to help out. But they're going to plant people in the group. Not just one. First season there was one. Second season there was one. The number one slot was always the person in charge. Gihon may figure that out, so he may not trust number one. But what if they have multiple people? They have the workers in the pink suits, but what if they have a couple extra guys that know the process, know how the games work, maybe have been there for a couple years, and they implement them into the crowd to monitor and watch Gihon. and to threaten him if anything is were to happen. Um, that's my theory. That's my thoughts. Everybody in the barracks dies. Gi-hun realizes that he was betrayed by Lee-hon, quote unquote, the front man, and they're going to restart the games all over again from scratch, from red light, green light, and Gi-hun is stuck there competing in these damn games all over again with updated versions of the games, more craziness of the games, and it would be crazy to think, and I really hope it's not the case because that would be like almost impossible. For the foreshadowing of Gi-hun with the dream and the triangle for the pastry game, you got to cut out the shape. That triangle's just a mess. I really hope that's not happening because that'd be just insane. Either way, thank you guys so much for watching. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, comment down below your thoughts on season 2. Did you enjoy it? What did you like about it? What did you like about it? Are you like me? You prefer to see more of the games because that's what the Squid Games is all about. While you're down below, check out my other links. I have music, I have a merch store, a whole bunch of cool stuff to go check out, and it all helps me out a lot. And we'll see you guys in season 3.